to all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave para peeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. You never know if it's going to remain quiet or not tonight with my guest, and that's why you all tuned in and she's ready to come aboard. Real quick, if there's anything you guys want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. Anything you want to know about us is there. But tonight is a very special night here. You all know what it is. Last Monday of the month. Happy Medium Monday. So without further ado, let me bring on my very special co-host, live from Cape Cod, Cape Cod's only live on-air psychic radio personality. And let's give a big, warm Paranormal Ministry family welcome to the one and only Happy Medium herself, Susan Ahern.
Hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I mean, I have power. If you lose me, you and Zach carry on, and you both are
All right.
more than capable of doing it. And the show would probably be better if the power goes out on me anyway. You were having really high winds here today. My power's already gone out twice today.
Ooh.
But I'm glad we're doing the show because I know I'm going to miss you. You're going to not do the next two, January, February, March, April, and May, right? No, March and
April.
March and April. You're not doing because you'll be recovering from your knee operation.
Correct.
So everybody who's tuned in live right now, if you ever wanted a free live on-air psychic reading, tonight's your night for the next couple of months. And that's funny that I'm bringing that up because just, if we don't get a lot of call-ins, a lot of people don't, for whatever reason. Sometimes we get a ton, sometimes not so many. I just decided to go back and look at the notes on several of your past shows. So I went back like 5-6 months. And I found all the questions that people send to me after the shows are over with. And most of them always start with, oh my gosh, I wanted to type in my question to Susan so bad, and I don't know why I just didn't, but I really wanted to ask her this. And they ask me the question. So I didn't erase the notes, I leave them there. So I actually wrote down a bunch of those old questions.
Oh boy, look at you.
And some of them aren't even psychic questions. They're just, a lot of people sometimes just like to pick your brain on paranormal stuff because they know you. Uh-oh.
Well, Susan, I did this to Shawn last week, and I just want to do this for you this week. You joined me on the 22-hour podcast about a different aspect of your career. About something that's also near and dear to you. You've got a surgery coming up this week that's going to knock you out for a little while, and we're dearly going to miss you. But you have some other things that you're really working on outside of what we do here. And I want to tell you that as I told Shawn, your presentation touched a lot of people. There were a lot of people that just really, they've been like, hey, how can I get a hold of Susan? So we've been sharing your name quite a bit. And I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the best in the world on your upcoming procedure. And thank you so very much for what you did.
Oh no, I'm so happy. I was like, I hope this was well received, and I'm glad that it did. And I'd love to come back and do more stuff with you. That we had a lot of fun. That was good.
You know what? We've actually got something that we're going to be announcing very, very soon, and that ability is going to be there. So,
okay.
I do want to throw this out, Susan. I'm going to ask for something I've never asked before. Mm-hmm. We're going through a really, really difficult trial right now.
Mhm.
I'd like to, do your thing there, lady, and let me see what your cards are saying about me and my wackadoo situation and see what happens.
All right, let's do it.
I don't mean to laugh, but whenever he says wackadoo,
It is
you never
accent.
know exactly what he's going to
That
do when he says
wackadoo.
wackadoo.
And it's
Um,
got the do. We just something with your do. It just sounds. It does. It sounds fun.
That's
All right.
actually where that New
Swoopy,
Jersey in
you
me
know what?
comes
It just
from.
dawned on me. You've never given Zach a
No,
reading.
No.
no.
All right. So which
Very
direction are we
interesting.
going in? Do you have a very
Um, we've got a very, very difficult family situation
okay?
we've got to figure out a solution for. And quite honestly, this is something where, as not to try to over dramatize this, but lives could be changed in significant ways. And I would like to know what I guess I'd just like to see where the spirits guide and what they're saying about my willingness to let this happen or run like a goofy chicken.
Okay. So I'm pulling the first card out is the moon, and that is about family. It's about, it can be about the feminine. The moon is the goddess energy as well. So it can be about care and caretaking and caregiving and being nurturing. The balance, the scale is off balance. But it's also can be about legal stuff. So you've got to be careful. Whatever you do, you've got to make sure that either you're backed up or you have your information correct. It feels like you're going to need to be well informed and
Yeah,
do it very carefully. And it's going to take work. This is going to take, it's not like a quick decision. So whatever's happening, you're going to have to carefully navigate it. And there's
yeah,
water involved. So that can sometimes be either um, someone that's not thinking clearly, kind of like watery, and or it can also be it could be alcohol. Sometimes the water can represent that, but it could also be something that's not clear as well, or not.
yeah. I just want to tell you that of course, I'm still a skeptic, but I'd like to talk to you a little bit, and I'll kind of fill you in what we're going on, and I want you to understand
Okay.
everything you just said was spooky.
Okay.
It really was, because there's a lot.
Sorry.
Mary,
So
to me, you're a skeptic. Are
no,
you kidding me?
well, I'm
Especially when she started
everything
talking
but
about
love.
the real
Uh,
drama that's in your life, and then the drama walked in. That was
Yeah.
perfect timing.
Hey,
you're lucky I
Shawn,
can't reach you.
Shawn, she is way too close to me for you to be saying stuff like that. So I would appreciate it if my nose would stay in one piece and you would
Okay, sorry.
shush.
I take it back. I take it. Let's rewind.
So, but thank you. I
You're
appreciate it, because,
welcome.
like I said, I mean, it really did. It hit. There was a lot of truth in everything that you just said, and we'll talk about it later. But
Yeah.
again,
Perfect.
good luck. Good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you.
And please, please, please keep us updated on everything,
Oh, definitely.
and just take care of yourself. Okay.
Oh, thank you. All right. Bye bye.
And I know you don't feel weird about me booking somebody else, even if it was a psychic on the next two
Oh
Monday
no.
but I'm not going to, because I feel weird. And actually, it'll give me a chance. I'm so buried in with homework and studies in the
Mhm,
seminary right now that
mhm.
that'll give me and Zach both a long 3-day weekend,
That would be
and he
nice.
can just
Yeah.
run a couple of old episodes with you on
Hmm.
those 2 nights, and then people can still see how talented and you are and passionate you are about what it is you do, and get them all ready for your return back.
Hmm.
Um, so yes, I do. I think Sharon already marked it on the calendar when you were supposed to have your surgery, because you told me that I think a month ago, and so you will be in our prayers for sure.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
and that's not, you had it done on the other knee. Are you like
Mm.
even kind of sort of like, why am I doing this again?
Ugh. I think the knowing is horrible and the not knowing is horrible. So I don't know I guess I know what to expect. So, and both of my knees were in the same accident. I don't know, It's just like they're like, "Didn't you get the other one?" "Yeah, but I got hit by a car." So they both got taken out. I was
Wow.
trying to get my left one stronger so that I could go in and have the right one done. And then I'll be fine. I'll be back
Yeah.
to kicking people in no time.
Well, it's also hereditary, so it was meant to happen. I went. You know how I am with heritage and lineage and ancestry.
Uh-huh.
I looked up one of your old family crests has these three knights. One has a cane, one has crutches, one's in a wheelchair, and then right below it is a picture of a degenerative knee. So I thought, well, there it is, the O'Hearns.
That's it. With the old
Um,
hag at the top.
there you go.
Who would have
So it's
knew?
you can't fight hereditary or what's in the blood. It is what it is.
Showing us free from safety.
First, when I saw the three knights, I thought it was going to be a hear no evil, see no evil, speak
Right?
no evil,
Something.
something to do with seers and
Mm-hmm.
psychic ability and
No.
stuff. But then when I looked closely, I said, "Is that a? Oh, that's a cane and a wheelchair and a crutches. Did they have those back then? That was weird."
See, we were
Um,
ahead of our time. Hmm.
and then I'm like, "That's a really odd looking animal below that." And I blew it up and I realized it was a little picture of a knee. Um, so
Stop.
you guys, I guess you guys were the O'Nees early on.
Oh, knee. Yeah, you got to say it right. Oh, my aching knee.
Well, listen, for all the people, I can sense people are like, well, I want a reading, but this is not
Right?
live. This is as live as it gets, guys. This is what you do. If you want to ask Susan a question, the only thing we're not doing tonight is conjuring spirit because that takes a lot more effort. There's a lot more involved in conjuring, and it takes up a lot more time.
Mhm.
So, um, if you have a question like, when are you going to meet Mr. or Mrs. Wright? Um, you ever going to come into a lot of money, or how's your going to have some health issues, or those types of things. Just type it into the chat room. Zach will pop it up there for Susan to see. She'll read it and give you your reading. Make sure you just put your name in there and where you're from, and then your question. You'll get your reading. And tonight's tonight's a great night. She's not going to be here for another 2 months, so tonight would be the night. And but like all nights before, all happy medium Mondays before, after the show's over with, I will have at least a half a dozen or more questions in the private messages on the Facebook Live page for the show for you. And I don't know why that happens, why people hesitate and ask me the question after the show. So,
Oh, so you said you had a couple of questions. What do you got?
oh, I do. And they're not all psychic stuff.
Okay.
Some of them are paranormal stuff. On that note, I haven't seen. I did talk to Daniel. I don't know if I'm allowed to
Mm.
talk about what him and I talked about, but I did talk to Daniel about a week or so ago. He's got some things coming up this summer.
Yeah,
Um,
he's very busy. I'm excited for him.
I am too.
Yeah.
How so? Mass hauntings. Um, I haven't seen anybody, you or any of the other team members, talk about any updates on what's happening with the team or upcoming locations to investigate or any of that stuff. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Nothing. Not
Is it
a
because
thing.
it's
Well,
we're in the
Daniel's got
dead of
his
winter and you're in Massachusetts, or
well, I think just everybody's got their stuff. Myra is going through her stuff, and Owen is doing his movie stuff, and Daniel's doing his movie stuff, and I'm kind of in bits and pieces. So, like it's and I will say this for everybody that likes to go ghost hunting. If you're not 100%, I highly advise you not to ghost hunt. Don't put yourself out there because they see you as the weak link and they will find you and they will attack you. And I being not feeling well, I it's a number one, like they just there's a bullseye on me and I could be very easily overtaken by something negative. And if you work in the white light, they love to come after you. Oh my god, they're just waiting to get you and I in a bad moment so that they can take us out. And so I don't give them that benefit. I don't do investigations when I'm not feeling well. And I will not read for people if I'm not feeling well either. um it's worth it for me to take the 2 months off to make sure that I've healed and that I'm in a good place before I open that up again. So it's actually for your benefit so that I'm getting accurate information. Because pain gets in the way of reading frequency for me. Pain stops that. It shuts it all down.
Very
So it's
interesting.
interesting. Yeah, for me that's my stop button. But I have somebody that I've wanted to work with, and this person is going through a lot of stuff right now. And every time we would go to kind of make a connection or to meet up, something happens and it gets it in the way. And so my thought is, remember when something negative was trying to mess with us, it kept us from texting each other and stopping us on Facebook. It's that same thing. Like every time we have a plan to meet up to discuss paranormal stuff, it stops it. Something happens, like weird stuff too. It's like, I have to go. I can't meet you. I'm like, we were even on FaceTime. Something happened and I had to back out. That was this weird random thing at the last minute. So, um, yeah, I don't, I, and this person is still actively doing ghost stuff. And I don't, I'm concerned because um, I think that just they've already got an attachment and you get one attachment and they tell you how to get in. They tell everybody
Right.
else where the door is and what the combo is or something. So yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be careful. You really have to be careful because the ghosts will be there. They've been there hundreds of years. They're not going away unless someone clears them, and nobody's really clearing them. They're just talking to them and poking them. So um, they'll still be there.
I would imagine if even if it's a disembodied spirit, nothing malevolent or demonic, and it's stuck here for whatever reason, it has chosen not to move on, and then it ends up remaining in this place for years and years and years and years, and then they start. That's a hell to start
Mhm.
having, even if they don't even real if they're not in any pain or suffering, but they're just kind of wandering around the home that they lived their whole life in, watching other friends grow old and pass
Mhm.
on, and family members going on with their lives, and they can't communicate with them. But then you start, some of these spirits that are stuck in these allegedly and ghost infested locations, then they have all these ghost hunting teams that keep coming in over and over and over again, trying
Right.
to get them to perform circus tricks. Move the ball, turn
Right.
off the light, turn on the flashlight, knock if you hear me, knock if you want us to leave. Boom, boom. Well, we
Knock
can't leave.
again.
Yeah,
Right. Do it more
uh,
because one that wasn't enough for me, which is horrible, right? Like I'd be like, knock on your own wall. No, but I also believe that they're where they are is a choice. They're choosing to stay in this limbo or this discomfort due to a lack of trust, their inability to trust the change, the moving on, and that's why they're in this stuck place. And it's also it's what I'm seeing is a healing. Is if they're not willing to heal and move and find forgiveness for themselves and others for whatever situation or why ever they're there, they're just going to stay there. And the ones that I've talked to, the ghosts that I've talked to help them move on if they were stuck in somebody's house was this one woman was like, "Oh, I didn't realize." And then she just her language changed because she was very caustic. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, it's so beautiful here." And she was like, all surprised. And I was like, "Yeah, just go." So I'm like, just go. It's easy. I don't think that they realize it's that easy. It's a choice. It's just a choice. And then they go. They don't want to trust you. Well, why should I trust you? You're a bitch. I'm like, okay, well, you can stay in hell. I'm going home. I'm sleeping in my comfy bed tonight. You're still walking the halls. So I don't, um, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. Have you noticed that? Have you seen that? Well,
yeah,
because you deal with a
yeah.
deeper when you're called in, you're bleh. It's pretty
It's like
nasty.
that now, but before that, I tend to notice I have come across some situations where some ghosts, disembodied spirits, ghosts were hanging on, but they almost were helpful. I mean, they watched over the family, they watched over the
Mhm.
home. They were kind of like this. Um, uh, I remembered one situation where the fire department got a phone call.
Oh, I love those ones.
Yeah, and there was nobody in the house to have made that phone call, so they showed
Mhm.
up, and
Mhm.
the house probably would have burnt down had they not got that call. But the
Wow,
family wasn't home,
that's
and no
cool.
neighbors were around. It was out in the country.
Mm.
Um, so you hear some stories like that, which are cool.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
had
if
a
those
oh,
ghosts are
sorry.
trapped really, or if they are coming back and forth because they're not malevolent.
Well, you got different ones. So you're talking about a different category. So the family members that come through, they're like the ones that come through when I'm doing my table tipping. And they can come through, hang out, give messages, show up every now and then they go back to the other side. They have free will to come and help out when needed or if they can. And the other ones I'm talking about, those are trapped souls that are suffering through a repetitive loop that are not there for any help. They're not there to connect. They haven't fully made the transition. The ones I talked to at table have made the transition to the other side. They've gone through their, boot camp training of welcome to heaven, here we go. And then they can come back and forth. So there's a couple of different levels that we're talking about. And the ones that are stuck haven't committed to go into the other side yet. And they may not be invited. I don't know what their situation is, but
Mm.
I just send them off um, to higher angelic realm, and they take them wherever they need to. I don't That isn't my stuff. I just am supposed to collect them, pass them off to you. What you do with it's your business. And I work go on doing the next thing. So
You have been
Sorry I'm late,
doing.
guys. I had to travel from the kitchen to here, and I'm a fat guy, so it took me a little while.
That's okay. That's okay. I realize it's funny. I knew that wherever you were at in the house looked like a different location, but I knew after the last little segment that you'd popped on, you were probably going to have to leave that room. So I figured you were going to show up
Well,
somewhere else
yeah, it
every
smelled
Monday.
like pudding. I was starting to lick the counters, and Adrian was like, "Get out of here, man! What are you doing?"
it.
So, but um, uh, Susan, how long how long did it really take for you to understand that you have a gift?
I mean, as a child, I used to talk to the um the, the angelic realm, the angels that used to come, or people. I would just see dead people, and but see, I didn't know what that was as a child. You don't know if you have a gift or you don't. I just assumed everybody talked, everybody at nighttime, just people came, and until you're told otherwise, you don't really know until you start visiting other people's families' houses and you do a sleepover, and I'm like, so where do the people come out of your closet? And they're like, what? Oh, don't you have people that come out of your closet? Because my
You like
yeah.
your hamburger a little bit pink too? Okay.
Well, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
I like my
Well,
medium rare too. So
oh, okay.
and ta-da!
Shawn, how do you like your hamburger?
How do I like my hamburger?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what I wouldn't. That you're being cruel, a little cruel right now, but I
No
love you so
hamburger.
much.
You can have a hamburger.
I'm on a Nutrisystem for over a year now. Let me see.
Well, they got
Yeah,
No hot
hamburger,
dogs.
no,
cheeseburger, macaroni, stuff like
that's
that.
one of my favorite meals is a hot dog. Even when I met Sharon, everybody in her family used to make fun of me at how many hot dogs I used to eat. Not at one sitting, but I love hot dogs.
I
So
love hot
no,
dogs.
no hot dogs, no hamburgers. Um,
Not even one.
I get one cheat day a week, and sometimes I may get a hamburger, sometimes not. But
Wow.
I like mine. Okay, here's the thing. I used to be like, you the old Popeye cartoon Wimpy. I never dressed like Wimpy or looked like Wimpy, but I was a
Eh,
self self proclaimed hamburger aficionado,
Mm.
and so I would talk to. Not only can I make a to die for hamburger if you give me all the right stuff that I need, but I've talked to lots of chefs that love hamburgers and know how to make them.
you just got busted, old man.
Oh, so I'm
Uh
not the
oh.
only one.
Oh, is Sharon tattling on
Uh,
you?
Geez,
No, she's
I
like,
should have never plugged her computer in. Ugh. She was napping when I came in here to do the show. That's not fair. Um, but I did. I said I do cheat. You know, I have my one cheat day, and sometimes I have a hamburger, sometimes not. And a Saturday, I did have. We went to Chili's, and I had one. Oh my god. Eh, so anyway, um, a lot of people don't know this, but if you talk to a chef that knows how to make a hamburger, he will tell you number one, it's got to be fried. It's got to be on the flat top, the range, not grilled, and it's got to be cooked no more than at the most medium, no more than medium. Usually a little more towards the rare side, just under true medium. But like these medium well done or well done burgers, they won't cook them that way, even if it's requested by the person who orders
I
it. But you
I
know,
cooked for over 20 years, and the term medium well just angers me. Okay, it's either medium or burnt. What do you want?
yeah,
If
and
it's
you
that
also have to
medium,
have
burnt.
the meats is a big deal. It's like there has to be a certain amount of fat in there for it to be a good burger. I mean, you get these people that get this 80% lean ground sirloin, and that's okay, but a chef won't make a burger out of that meat. I think it's got to be
Well,
like 60-40.
Oh, I think your ghost in your house wants to chime in because your little wind
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
catcher thing is twirling around your
That's
what
the
is it called?
hamburger. Yeah, that's the hamburger goes. Well, we conjured them. I said
I
we weren't going to do any conjuring, and we conjured the hamburger
See,
ghost.
I still, Sharon, thank you, thank you, thank you. I
was it
love
a
it. I
Saturday
love
that?
it.
Yeah, he's not
So
answering
I know
that
why
question.
she's
Hmm.
saying that because I said something to her after I ate the hamburger. And now you're talking
It's
to a
like
guy that's been on
yum.
Nutrisystem for over a year, so you can't really trust what I'm going to say when it comes to this. But I sat down afterwards before I passed out, and she thought about calling 911. I had a burger there that I told her this is the best burger I've ever had, and it's a double cheeseburger with unless you request this, you never get American cheese on your burger. They always put cheddar or something else on burgers. But you don't have to say a word. It already comes with the American cheese. But they put like 6 slices of bacon on there, and the
Wow.
bacon is cooked to perfection. It's not crispy and burnt or gooey and chewy. Cooked to perfection. And then they don't go overboard with the condiments. They put a couple of pickle chips in there and
I hope to God your
some.
cardiologist isn't listening.
I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital afterwards. Grilled onions, sautéed onions.
Oh,
Yep.
my favorite.
The bun was like the freshest bun I'd ever seen, felt, and tasted, like an artisan bun.
How did this turn into the cooking show?
I
I
was
don't
just,
know,
I was
but
actually just sitting here, Susan, thinking, you know what? Chili's to go line is going crazy right now. So,
you got
Chili's,
it's called the
yeah,
Big Rancher, and it is
yeah,
oh they
yeah,
put
Chili's,
their own.
please,
You have
please
two
submit a
sauces.
check to the Rev.
You can
Yeah,
ask
right.
for their they have a secret sauce,
Ooh.
and they also have their homemade ranch, and you can get either or on the burger to your request. But it's called the Big Rancher, and oh my gosh,
Okay, well, I'm going to do something you guys can't do. I'm going to go eat. Bye.
Oh, bye. Oh my God, too funny.
ah,
All right, pick a question off your table there,
well, what we
please.
were talking about leads into a couple of other things that I wanted that I
Hamburger
wanted to
leads
ask you
into
about.
ghosting. What?
Yes,
No, it does not.
um, what do you think about more and more? And I've had lots of people in this going through this type of thing reach out to me for help. What do you think about these people that, and it's not succubus or incubus, which once I start investigating further could possibly be,
Hmm.
but when these people reach out to me, they're not going through traditional succubus incubus type haunt, but people reach out to me and they're in love with a ghost. It's
Right.
like uh, that man I told you about that was said that he had the ghost of a wife from
Hmm.
a previous life that has been with him since he was a
Hmm.
young child here on this timeline, and that he got into ghost hunting and then went to a place, and he said she was a bit of a floozy and said she was flirting with the ghost of a mean miner at some location and invited this ghost back to the house. So now this ghost was in love with the ghost of his ex-wife from a previous life and wanted her all to himself. So now he was attacking this guy. So the guy wanted me to come over and get rid of that ghost, but not the ghost of his ex-wife because he was in love with her. And for I'm just going to throw it out there,
Yeah.
was having you know
A ghostly affair,
boom. And
right?
then I've
With
had
all the special sauce included.
I've had women reach out to me too. I'm in love with this spirit or this entity or whatever it is that's in my life right now and with me.
Mhm.
Um, and they say I'm not under the care of a physician. I'm not on medication. I'm not crazy.
Mhm.
But I've got this entity here, and I need to talk to somebody. Do I need to fix this problem, or is it okay that I'm in love with a ghost and having this love affair with this ghost? So then you hear about like there's that famous woman, and I forget her name. She's in England. She's given so many interviews and wrote a book and tours around and talks about having she actually married her ghost, went through the whole wedding procedure and everything, and had this
How can you
wedding.
marry something that's not there?
Well, she claims the ghost is
Right.
there and that she married it.
Yeah, but who marries you?
Somebody married her. Some weirdo reverend like me
Right.
married her there in England. Um, what do you
Right.
think about that? You've had so many spirits come in and out of your life, like
Right.
the spirit that walks around your house with the heavy boots, the farting ghost, the ghosts that have, followed you home from the B&B, the Lizzie Borden B&B, and I saw a
Yeah.
great movie called Lizzie the other night that I'd never seen before.
Ooh.
That was about that story. Great, but all of
Where'd
a
you
sudden
find it?
it
Where
was
was
on
that?
TV. I saw Lizzie, and I'm like, Lizzie.
But
I
like
thought I saw
what?
every movie about that,
Like regular
and I
TV, Hulu, Netflix,
it was
something
a
else?
movie channel like HBO or
Oh,
Showtime
okay.
late at
Okay.
night, and I
Okay.
tuned into it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is about Lizzie Borden."
Oh,
Great movie. Anyway, what
good.
do you think about that?
Um, well, I've had experience with a young male ghost way back. Um, that would come in at night. Like he occupied the space. I wasn't quite sure why he was there, but but yeah, he was inappropriate, like he pull down my sheets, then I'd wake up and go, "Oh, why are my sheets down?" And pull my sheet up, and then he unzipped my pajamas. I had a union suit, so he unzipped my pajamas. And then I woke up and I was like, "Okay, wait a minute, what's happening here?" Um, but I was in a dream. Like in my dream, I could see him, and so I don't know how he did that. Like, how did he?
I got a weird question for you, and you don't have to
Yeah.
answer. Were you
Okay.
single at the time?
Um, yes, I believe I was.
Were you lonely? And I don't mean to be funny. I'm being serious.
No,
Because
no, I
sometimes
was
I think some of
dating, but
these
I don't
people
think
are
I was.
so
No,
lonely, they
no.
inadvertently are semi psychically gifted themselves, and they
Kind of
they
create a
conjure the yeah.
yeah, right. So no, I may have been in between relationships, but I I could have been on put on timeout for a little while, and that would have been okay too. So that's where I was in that point in my life. But no, I remember seeing him very clearly. And it was interesting because in my dream we were doing whatever we were doing, and that's why the sheets and everything else was down. So I was like, it was a mind trip because I I was like, "How did my dream do that?" And then wait a minute, and then you could smell, you could feel. There was actually you had all those senses. So could someone fall in love with that? Definitely. You could. I mean, I would say people, date strange people anyways. Like why date someone that's incarcerated for life and it ain't comes back, but boom. Um why date someone that's unavailable, because honestly this ghost would never be available for you, is never going to be able to be there physically, emotionally, somewhat physically, but it's not a realistic, healthy relationship. But people get into unrealistic, unhealthy relationships all the time. People date married, unavailable people all the time. So it wouldn't make
It's a
um
defense mechanism because deep down inside they don't want
right,
the permanent attachment. So
right.
that's that little last little
Yeah,
thing to keep that
exactly.
from
Like you could
becoming.
really analyze it and go, well, why are you settling for less? Why don't you just settle for a real person that could be really here? And then that there's fear and all sorts of other things that come up. So, but it is
How
totally possible.
how serious should someone take, like when they have a dream, like you said, that someone is no longer reachable? Quite often I have a dream about my grandfather, who I used to go to him for answers and for wisdom. And quite often, I'll have a dream about him when I've got like a maybe a moral dilemma or something. And of course, the first thing I say, I think is, oh my God, but wait a minute, I thought you were dead, because, I'm a bright one. And then he always, things just snap back to the way it was when we were kids. And, he was sitting in his favorite chair when the news comes on. We were told to shut up. And, but I mean, it's like really weird how the story is almost the same every time, but it happens, and it happens
Mhm,
often.
mhm.
So how much should somebody put into that? What's the validity of this?
How does it make you feel when he comes by and is supporting to you or whatever? Right? And is it real? Is it your mind? I mean, I could say the same thing. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh, am I just dreaming it up?" But even if I'm dreaming, it just feels, or just daydreaming. Like it feels real enough that it brings me comfort and it's the support that I need. And so I would go with that versus trying to decredit it and debunk it. I think it is what it is. I
Yeah,
think
and
they're
see,
there to
there's
visit.
the one that I don't like though, Susan, is when I feel that thought of, oh my God, now I'm going to have to relive losing you again. And there's times that I have that
Right.
feeling. So
Right.
you know,
Well, then
but
let's look at that. Let's look at what that means, because clearly you haven't lost him if he's coming back to you. If he's revisiting you and you're getting to see him past the moment you buried him, then there's something there. You've been able, so he's not dead. He's just not the same that he was before.
well,
He's still there. He's just not the same. It's not the same way, but he's still there. He's now in a different way.
that's that's actually kind of inspiring. So I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Because it's almost it is. It's like they're in the other room. We just can't see them. We know they're there. They're still kind of lingering and hanging around, and I like that thought. I had a really close friend, a very dear friend, come today to me in that been has been past like 4 years now, and it brought me to tears. I was like, oh my gosh, why you? I was so thankful, 'cause I thought that he had gone and wasn't coming back. He's like, "I need to move on. I've been here long enough." And I was like, okay. So I really thought I wasn't going to see him again. And when he popped up, I said, are you here because I'm going into surgery? I was like, oh, that is so sweet. It was just so kind. It was so comforting and so loving. And I got another hug. So it's never ended. It's just, you just never know when you're going to bump into them. And that's kind of how I feel.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Um, have you heard from? He was one of your biggest fans, and this goes way back when I was doing the radio show, and you would come on the last Monday of every month. Do you hear from Brett? And Brett came on the very first Happy Medium Monday after he had passed. He showed up.
He did.
Have you?
I have not seen him
No.
since. No. Um, yeah, no, that's very interesting. I would him up often when we didn't know where he was and what was happening to him. And I was like, oh, why am I'm just picking Brad up. I'm picking Brad up. And then we saw him that one last time. And I was like, oh, he was such a sweetie.
I
Oh
thought
my
for
God.
sure he would pop up and
Hmm.
finally let us know if he had ever found the money or not.
Oh my God. That would be wonderful. Right. Oh, he was so
Oh
sweet.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just usually tell these people I don't come out and call them crazy, but sometimes I do suspect that maybe, just maybe, um, they
Well,
should go talk to a doctor.
yeah, I wouldn't get in the middle of a love triangle if they were alive people.
Right.
So I have those are my boundaries that
So, like I said, sometimes these stories that come to me, it's classic incubus, succubus, or
yeah, right.
demonic in nature.
And
Because
that's
these
not what
people,
this sounds like either. It sounds because incubus succubus they don't give the person an opportunity. They don't give them a choice. This guy sounds like he has a choice. He's choosing and it when you're attacked by an incubus or succubus, you don't have a choice. They come down and suck your soul and they take you over. And then they leave when they're done. And they'll come back another night and then leave when they're done. So I would call it like a quick possession.
what's weird? Like I think you and I have talked about that story. It was based on a true story, and it was a movie called The Entity. And many clergy and people in the know. Let's keep the bill house. Many people in the biz,
Mhm.
knowledgeable deliverance ministers, exorcists, clergy, paranormal investigators, parapsychologists, a lot of parapsychologists that worked on the case. They don't believe that that was an incubus or a succubus, or a demon, but yet this entity was coming down and basically raping this woman. And there were witnesses that saw these attacks take place,
Mhm.
and you couldn't do anything about it. If you tried to intervene, you would come under attack, but you would just get like beat up and thrown around. Then it would
No.
go back to attacking the woman again.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's that's a lot of energy. So we're talking, yeah, it has to be on that
that's
demonic
scary.
realm when they have enough power to overcome you and you can't get out of it or you're paralyzed or you're blasted across the room. Like you said, that's something more than just what this guy was talking about that just wanted to have a relationship with the ghosty lady and blah blah blah. Like that's something different. That's yeah, those are two different topics.
Well, my advice, I left it at this. I told the guy, I'll be there in a heartbeat if you let me know. Everybody's got to go. Um, and I told the one woman that I'm thinking of that reached out to me. I told her, um, if this gets to a point where it starts to become violent or leaving a mark afterwards, after your evening dream state interludes, romantic interludes, if it starts leaving a mark or you start getting sick, because I
Mhm.
do believe these entities, when the contact is that strong, they start zapping a person's energy. They
They
start
do.
sucking that life force from them.
I believe that too. Yeah, I had a client and she knew it wasn't good. So that's the first flag. If you get any flag, that was the first flag. But then she went back because I think she was lonely. And now she's like, what am I going to do? I'm in this relationship and he won't let anybody else come near me. Like now he's doing the possession thing and he's the ghost, she's live. So yeah, no, that's not okay if the person was alive or if it's dead. It's not, that's an inappropriate behavior that you should not accept on any level. So I think people that wishy-washy boundaries, that have allowed inappropriate boundaries, um, they're going to be an easy target. So,
Well, you mentioned everybody's doing their movie thing, Daniel. I would love to tell you what we talked about, and for all I know, he may have already talked to you about it. But since he didn't actually give me permission to, I'm not going to. But I'm excited for him. And uh, you've
are you
got other
talking about his building that he's doing fun stuff in?
no.
Oh, oh,
But then I
I
reached
don't
out
know.
to
I don't think I
Frank. I
know.
told Frank about that new series
Hmm.
that Sharon and I enjoy on I
Hmm.
believe it's HBO. And he's probably waiting to finish for the season one to finish before he gives me his opinion on what he thought.
Hmm.
But I'm excited about some other movies coming out that I think. Have you ever heard of Father Gabriel Amorth?
Yeah.
They're doing a
Who is
movie
he?
about him, starring
Oh,
Russell Crowe plays him,
oh
and
wow.
it's that should be a really good movie. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a movie about Father Padre Pio, and I don't
Hmm.
know if the guy's last name is if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Shea LaBeouf.
Oh,
LaBeouf.
Le Bouffe.
He plays him, and just like the guy that plays, um, I don't know what religious belief system he had in place when he played Jesus in the Passion, but I
Hmm.
know that right now he's a very devout Catholic. But Shay wasn't Catholic, and playing Padre Pio in this movie, he
Hmm.
converted to Catholicism.
Wow.
So apparently, it's going to be a pretty strong movie too, and they're going to make a sequel to a sequel. They're going to make a part two to the Passion, and it's called Resurrection. But they had a lot of I've seen a lot of interviews with um, the guy that played Jesus and the guy that did the soundtrack, and even Mel Gibson himself talked about a lot of demonic activity behind the scenes that went on during the filming of that. So they're probably in for a lot more of that in filming Resurrection. But that should, if it's anything like The Passion was, that's going to be probably just an excellent movie. And then I'm in your neighborhood shopping. I wasn't there physically, or I would have popped in
I was
and
going to say,
saw.
what?
But have you ever been to Spencer, Mass? Spencer,
No. It's probably a
Massachusetts?
Western Mass.
Um, there's an abbey there that I shop at, and I never knew it was. Always thought it was in upstate New York. Never really looked at the address, and I've been doing business with them for quite some time now. And then I finally
Hmm.
realized, no, they're in Spencer, Mass, and it's called St. Joseph's Abbey. And
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
you would
Yes.
love some of the things that they have there. It's their gift shop. It's all the monks there are
Mhm.
into aromatherapy. I get my
That's
blessed
cool.
oils there, my uh, chrism and some
Mhm.
other
Ooh,
very
that's good
blessed
to know.
monastery
I'll
oil.
have to hit
Yeah,
you on that. Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
but they do their
Okay.
own jellies and jams and preserves and candles and all kinds of cool stuff. And you can go there and do the tour of the abbey and
Nice. Little
but if
labyrinth of
you haven't been
sorts.
there, you're probably
Mm-mm.
far away from you.
Yeah, it's not, well, it's an hour to get over the bridge, so everything's far away from me, but it's okay.
Oh man, so you're having a storm right now.
It's coming. It's
Uh
coming.
oh.
It's not out there right now. Yeah, but it's coming.
Yeah, I'm
It's
surprised.
okay.
I am surprised I didn't get cut off. I told Zach
You
be
you
ready to take
wavered a
over.
little bit there. I thought I was gonna have to sing and dance to
Yeah,
get
we're
brought
having
back on.
really high winds here today, second in a week.
Oh,
And so we're lucky that we didn't lose our back porch awning. And but the power's gone out twice here today, and so I didn't know if it was gonna hang in there for the show or not. But
Yeah, it looks
now,
good.
now I can't stop thinking about hot dogs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well,
Oh,
I'm telling you, I can't stop thinking about them because I can't remember the last time I had one. So I've already made, since she's watching, I can go ahead and throw this out there to her, and she can't just, she can give me, she can think she's going to give me a no, but now she'll have time to think about it because I won't be back into that side of the house for another 15, 20 minutes. On my cheat day this week, I think I'm going to have her go to my very favorite hot dog place.
ooh,
And
I would, because you
do
really
you have
love
Sonic
those.
out there?
No.
Oh, they got the
Florida, when I go to Florida, it's Sonic, but not up here.
they've got the
Oh,
the for real deal, the ones that are sold there at Coney Island footlongs. And I usually get the chili cheese footlong or two when she goes there, and we haven't gone there in forever. And that's where I'm going to. My vote is going to be for my cheat day.
Suggest.
This.
All right.
mustard.
I don't think. I think they just put the chili and the cheese on it. You can request that, but if I go with mustard, it's got to be a really dark, spicy mustard like Golden's.
Eh, that's good. That's good. As long as it's mustard.
I also like diced onions.
How did we turn this into haunted food again?
Well, food is good for the soul. Good food is good for the soul, and that's what this show
We
is.
we don't have anybody flipping you cards, so now we're just gonna take and put together a cookbook.
That's it.
The Cape Cod Happy Medium Cookbook.
You know what's funny? That's funny you bring that up because I have about between my wife and I about 20 recipes for dishes that I know nobody else makes.
Oh,
And my publisher is trying to get her and I to do this
that'd be
spiritual cookbook because I
great.
cook with all the blessed salts and the holy water and
Mhm.
all that. And yeah, these so that's on the burner. I don't know if it's going to be come to fruition, but
That would be
you thought about
fun.
that. It's something different,
We
you
could
Yeah,
do
know.
like the hamburger.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
that's funny. That would be
So you
good.
don't even need to pull out the joke of the day. I just gave it to you right
Ba-dum-bum.
there. Hamburger.
Oh,
It
I
sounds like a
wasn't planning.
booger,
I
though.
wasn't planning on telling a joke. Usually at the end of the show, on your show, I don't do much of an opening. I like to get you on here as quickly as possible because I never know if I'm going to have 50 people waiting to do readings, wanting to hear from you, or if it's going to be a night where you and I get to catch up like this. But so when the show ends, I usually wait right to the last second to say goodnight to you, tell people who's on next week, and then say goodnight. So tonight I wasn't planning on a joke, but this here I am. I can't get this one joke off of my mind because a friend of mine sent it to me because he knows of all my cat issue now. That at one time I had about 10 of them living out in my yard. Now it's down to the Fab Five. But
Oh, wow. That's
so
good.
I'm going to hit you with the joke.
All right.
What do you call a pile of cats?
I don't know.
A meowton.
A mountain. That was good. I was
That's
trying to
pretty
think. That was
good.
good. That
That's
wasn't
pretty good.
bad.
For my
All
friend
right.
who doesn't know how to tell a joke,
Yeah,
he
that's
had to look
safe.
that up. But that I thought that was funny. I added the meowton,
All
but
right.
I could have just said a
Yeah.
meowton.
No, but I like the mountain. That was very cute. I like that.
Uh,
I get nothing. I don't have any
yeah,
jokes. I'm
I don't got
horrible.
anything else. I got a whole hat full. I 2 weeks ago, I believe at the one of my show, I said I'm getting low on jokes. People send me in some jokes, and so I got a bunch more, and I filled up my top hat, and so I'm ready to go for this coming
Oh,
Friday.
good.
But yep, that's it.
Sounds good. So what else? I got nothing. I did a lot of table tipping. We've had some wonderful experiences. Yeah, so it's the table's going to go away for a little while too. It'll go rest down in the basement, and um, I'm just going to take a chill.
Yeah, I will be praying for you.
Oh,
And
thank you.
what do you think about? We talked about these incubus, succubus,
Mhm.
these entities that are so powerful. I believe, even if they come across as very loving, I believe it's leading to something bigger. I think it's a trick, and I think many of them that come on, like the spirits that this gentleman and this woman reached out to me about, believe they come on. Yeah, be in love with me. Let's have a ghostly love affair. Marry me. Let's be together. It comes on like that, but I think it turns into something much more ominous as
Hmm.
time goes on.
I
Let's
agree.
talk about the doppelganger, for lack of a better description, because I don't know really what a doppelganger is. And Sharon and I have seen my doppelganger
Right.
here.
Right.
Um, what do you think is about that? Do you think that has something to do with, like, I've had people reach out to me say you're dealing with an alternate universe or a slip in the time
Hmm.
continuum there in your
Yep.
home or something. And I don't, because I'm not into that at all. It's not that I don't buy into that. I'm just not into that. So I don't have an opinion. But
Right.
what do you think about the doppelganger thing?
That's what I think. I think that there is past, present, futures all happening at the same time, or there's something. There are timelines that are being, you know, kind of wonky, and somehow you're there and there. Like how that happens, I don't know. That's quantum. So quantum physics is amazing. I love that whole study, but there's a lot to it, and that's got to be what's happening.
Do you think
Um,
there's a reason why you never see your own doppelganger?
um,
That'd be freaky.
I bet someone has.
I'm
You know
gonna
what I
look
mean?
into
Like,
that. I'm
I
gonna look
bet
into
someone
that.
has, because every time we say, "Oh, that never could happen," that's when I see it. I always see it. So I always say, "Oh yeah, everything is possible, and anything is possible." And right now, where the energies and the planets and everything is happening, and what's happening on the planet, and um, if you think it, you can manifest it. So keep your thoughts pure and only think of the best, because that's how to keep your life going in the right direction. And if you're in this mode of suffering and pain and sorrow, you're not gotten out of it. You're just going to keep going around and around and around until it's choice. Once again, everything is choice. You choose to change your reality. My reality is, you know, positive. And so I don't have the same suffering that someone else does, because I don't buy into it. I don't watch TV. I don't watch shows anymore that are that have anything negative, that are too violent, that are way too sexual, way too crazy. They're just I just don't I won't watch it. And so um and my life is a reflection of that. And I live I'm very happy. And
Good,
so I
good
don't
for you.
have, yes. And I think that's just because I've been trying to practice that. And it's a practice, because there's stuff I want to watch that I'm like, is that going to shift my energy? And so maybe I
Absolutely.
shouldn't. And
Yeah.
so, and places that I used to go before, I have to go, oh, I can't even go in there just to visit or play. I just have to keep walking, because it's not my reality anymore. And that's, um, it's okay. I'm not like suffering because I'm changed that. It's like it's like a diet, but it's on a spiritual level. It's like a spiritual diet. I can only eat what's good, take in what's good, and I and that means maybe doing less investigations. Not and removing that from my life. So I'm okay with wherever that's going. I just know I was keeping it on the positive, and less negative is just falling away. It can't even hold on. And so that's when I was like, oh, I'm onto something. I'm going to keep this up and see where it goes. So it's been good.
Well, I love you. I respect you. I'm gonna miss you. Keep in touch. I want to know
Oh,
how you're doing and how the rehab is coming and your recovery and all that. But thank you so much for being a trooper and hanging in there tonight. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great, safe trip home from your daughter's office,
thank
and
you.
stay safe. And I'll be praying for you.
Yeah, and I hope the wind doesn't get too crazy for you. And Zach, love you too, guys. Thank you. I'll
I'll see
talk
you
to you
later.
soon.
All
Bye.
right. Good night, Susan. I will see you guys this coming Friday, March 3rd. It's episode 3 of the Christian Supernatural monthly series with Ira Wolfnison, demonologist Ira Wolfnison, this coming Friday. I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here. God bless you all. See you Friday. Good night.